Okay, so let me share my screen here again. There we go. And then let's get this poll again. Okay, so what do you guys want to build today? Right, so here's our list of things to do. In the past, we worked on the Alpha Pix options strategy. We could actually look into how that's doing. Let's see how our Alpha Pix option strategy is doing. We'll go da da da. Alpha Pix calls only. See how this thing's running. Um, Strange. Doesn't seem to have anything here. This is on July 1st. Maybe it stopped running. That's weird.
Robert, I don't think I've ever seen any data on the option picks options. I've kind of kept an eye on it. I haven't seen anything ever pop up. That's going to be one of my questions tonight. Ask how it was doing or what was doing.
Yeah, we ran that a while ago, and we were talking about it a lot actually when you, I think, went up to help your son with moving. So this is one of them. I don't know why this is having trouble here. Investigate that. But yeah, so here's Alpha Pix. This is with real money. It seems to be doing some weird stuff. It owns CSTM. Um, Maybe I need to relaunch it because we had some issues with Tradier a few weeks ago. But then we have Alpha Pix calls only. Here's the two of them. Real money. Okay, so here is real money. This is actually doing not too bad. Up until recently, it was actually beating the stock market by quite a bit. We're still up about 1.2%. It currently owns CSTM. Let me bring this up. Okay, so here's with real money. So it's actually making it's up 1.2%. It was up quite a bit more recently, but I guess it's come back down. And then this one, this is with paper trading. It seems to be not doing so hot. And so here's a couple of different options. Although we made a new version of AlphaPix, right? So this might be an older version. This is version 98. This is version 99. So the newer version, I think, fixed a few issues with the one before. Um, so this one seems to be doing better than this one, which is down quite a bit, actually. That's really not too good, down 40%. It has expirations in June 2027, February 2027, so it's pretty far out expirations. But I think this is the old version where basically if these things came off the list, it never removes them, right? So we made version 99 that basically says like, okay, because version 98, I think what it was it would buy the options based on what AlphaPix recommends, but then just hold them basically forever, right? Whereas in version 99, we made it a little different where um, if things come off the list, or if the picks change, right? So it'll find the top two picks or the top three picks or whatever. In this case, I think it picked four. Um, if those come off the list, then they actually get removed and they actually trade more often. So it's not just holding the same thing all the time. So that's kind of what's been happening here with the new one, which seems to be performing a lot better. But then the old one, this is, yeah, a little bit of a disappointing result. Um, so maybe we could analyze this and figure out what the heck is going on with this one. If you guys want to work on that, we could figure out what is going on with this alpha picks option strategy and, how can we improve it further, right? I think that'd be a good thing to look into. We could work on AI trading. For an AI trading team, I already showed you those four. There's that Citadel bot and a few other things as well. So we could work on those and try to improve those and see what the heck they did over the past week and is there any way that we can improve it? Then we could also work on the AI trading team skill for BotSpot, meaning that we make it easier for you guys to make these AI trading teams, which we were working on, I think, last week or the week before that. Um, there's also something I've been thinking about a lot lately is we have this whole AI trading team, but what we have not explored, and this is something we talked about a lot, where you can actually make it so that our AI can just trade for you, but it's not like the way that we built these, right, was like pretend you're Ray Dalio, pretend you're Citadel, whatever, and trade like them. But you could also just as easily, I think, we haven't tried this yet, and I think this would be a very interesting thing to try is use the AI trading to basically make a strategy instead of using code. So something like, make a strategy that trades the opening range breakout, right? Do the analysis every day. And then you basically, instead of writing Python code to do that, right? Where it's like, if this, then that, if this, then that, instead, you let the agent figure that out on its own, right? You can basically make its own decisions and say, should I buy this? Should I buy that? And it does its own analysis and then actually places the trade on its own, right? So we've done it as an AI trading team, but we've never done like AI trading as we'll say AI trading to execute um, specific strategies. So, for example, you know, like anything that we would normally do, right? Like trade orb strategies or trade you know, condors or trade, whatever the typical thing that people trade or moving averages, right? But basically, instead of making it with code, we would make it with an AI trading prompt, right? And the reason why this matters, strategies, there you go. The reason why that matters is because I think that if we were to do that through AI, we could make it like 100 times easier to make a strategy, right? So instead of you're building a strategy, you have to get all the Python code right and all this stuff has to work. Instead, you let the AI reason about it and kind of figure it out on its own, right? So if I want to make a strategy that trades iron condors, instead of like spending all this time making code and making sure it's perfect and whatever, I just give instructions to the AI and say, do this every day, right? It'll go off and figure out all this stuff on its own and figure out, what is the right delta and what is this, what is that. It will do all that analysis on its own and then just place that like moving average or condor trade, for example, right? So it's like a new way of building strategies, right? Because, what I've been thinking about a lot is it's really hard to build strategies. I think this would make it a lot easier to build strategies, right? So instead of writing code and executes code, it's instead talking to the AI on a daily basis and actually executing that. Right. So I think that'd be very interesting. Does that make sense to you guys, by the way? Or does that sound interesting in any way?
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, so is that we could also work on a Twitter trading bot. It's become a lot easier to build something like that, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff there. We could work on prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi. We actually got pretty far with that last week. This is another thing that's really hot right now. Like, you know what I've been learning? I learned this crazy fact the other day. What was it? It was one of these brokers. I think it was Robinhood or Schwab or something like that. They're making more money from these prediction markets than they are from their stock or options trading. Can you believe that?
That's cool.
It's amazing.
I
That's
think,
crazy, no?
yeah, 'cause I mean, I like, because they're betting on so much stuff, especially like
Hmm.
world events and stuff. And,
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, your 50-50 chance is, is it pretty good if you make a good white choice. But I can believe that because people on 14 events, everything, news events, all that betting, I can see that.
Yeah,
Wonder,
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I wonder how many folks out there have got a AI agent that is they feed the daily racing form on a race into the research, and then they have the agent go in and then analyze down into comparisons horse by horse and comparison and can spit out a predicted winner. And I wonder how they do. I bet somebody's doing that for sure.
So I could actually tell you a story about this. This was actually back in the day. I think this was in the 80s or the 90s when computers were kind of just becoming a thing. There was a guy who would do horse betting, right? And he was the first person ever that used computer models to do horse betting, right? And he actually did some pretty interesting stuff. It was like he just got a slight edge, kind of figuring out, what horses are going to be better, whatever. But he also made a lot of bets. Like the computer would place like 1,000 bets a day, kind of thing, right? Like no human's going to do that, right? Um, and these guys, I think it was over the course of 3 years, they made $1 billion doing this back in the 90s, if you could believe it, for horse racing specifically, right?
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, goes to show, that there's an edge you could get here with AI, right? And I think that's very interesting. I mean, horse betting is one thing, right? Horse betting that's kind of hard to predict, right? But I mean, Polymarket has everything. It's got sports, right? It had the World Cup. It has political events that are happening. It has, when is ChatGPT 6 coming out? You know what I mean? Like you could bet on anything, right? You could bet on if your neighbor's moving next week. You know what I mean? Like there's like anything you could bet on, right? And the thing is that like if you could use AI to help you get an edge, and then especially if you have some sort of insight yourself, right? Maybe you work in the field, maybe I wouldn't, insider trading is not illegal when it comes to these things. They are starting to arrest people in certain situations, like for example, there's like a military captain or something that bet on Polymarket that they're
Let,
going to invade Iran or
let's
something,
just
and then
let's just say the truth. Insider trade is not illegal for government officials. Okay, let's just keep
well,
it at that.
this is even further than that. Yes, and that I agree with. Yes, absolutely. That's why Nancy Pelosi is doing so well and all the other ones.
Yeah.
Um, that I fully agree with. But this goes even further. You don't have to be a politician, right? You could just have an edge of some sort, right? And it's not technically insider trading. There are no laws around this yet. Okay? They probably will add laws and we could argue whether that's a good idea or not. I'm not even sure that's a good idea. But right now, there is no insider trading around it. So if you have some sort of insight, you work in the field, you know someone at the company, you know someone's doing this, and on top of that, you help AI figure out what to bet on, I bet you can make a ton of money. You know what I mean?
Robert, did you hear the story that they I don't know, laid off or removed the speed or the what do you call it, the thing the speech goes on for Trump, the teleprompter. They removed the teleprompter operator, because he was going on
I
one
did
of
hear this.
the signs, and he knew what the speech would be about, and he was able to. And I guess he can't. Like you said, there was nothing breaking any laws. He just had that inside edge, and then he was using it on one of these Perplexity or one of these other things, and making money. And they had a little blurb that they removed him, I guess, or whatever. But I never heard anything else. But I thought that was pretty ingenious, you know?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I mean, if this was a stock market, that would be considered insider trading, but it's not the stock market. You know what I mean? And there aren't laws around like that for prediction markets, right? And will there ever be laws? I would argue that it's probably a bad idea to add laws like that because in some sense, prediction markets are very useful as helping you figure out what's going to happen in the future, right? Like it predicted the last election like almost perfectly. Like they predicted like every single state. They predicted the that Trump was going to win by a landslide when everyone else was saying the opposite, right? Like they're just like truth machines, you know what I mean? And one of the reasons why they're such good truth machines is because of like the insider trading stuff, right? Which is not actually insider trading, but you know. Um, so yeah, so that's my thought there. I think prediction markets are very interesting. We have poly market working almost. Last week, I was struggling a bit trying to figure out my crypto wallets and stuff. That was such a complicated thing to do. But I think that's all sorted now. So we could actually just, yeah, we could actually just do that, right? We could actually just use prediction markets to trade, right? We could use Polymarket. I think that's almost all good to go. We could actually start making some strategies for it or just directly trading with it. Like we could do this agentic trading thing with that too, right? Where you link up Polymarket as a broker and now you could actually get the prices of things. You could do an analysis around it and say, hey, you know, I want to place a bet on this game, right? Let's say when the World Cup was playing Spain versus whatever else, right? What are the odds for that? What are the things you could like have like analyze stuff for you, right? Or you could talk about, you know, when is ChatGPT 6 coming out? And they could actually do the analysis on it. And then if you have your own data behind it or your own edge, you could actually add to that too. And I think that there's probably some very interesting ways to make money with prediction markets. That's kind of my thought process here. And I think that'd be a very interesting thing to finish up because we're getting close to the finish line with that one. Specifically with poly market, we could talk about, you know, Kalshi and predict it. We could add the other ones later on as well. But poly market, we're pretty much almost fully working. So we could finish that up there. There's two different ways to do that. You could use prediction markets to trade, or you could use prediction markets to help you trade on other markets, right? So you could either place bets on the prediction market, or you could use the prediction market to help you figure out what to trade on other markets like the stock market, right? So the prediction markets have things like what's going to happen to the earnings of all these different companies, right? It's predicting that Nvidia is going to beat its earnings, that Google is not going to beat its earnings. You could take that data and actually trade the stocks with that data, right? So there's two ways I think we could use prediction markets, right? And I think both are very interesting, right? So yeah, so it's prediction market stuff. We could work on SPX strategies, right? A lot of people trade SPX. So we could do a whole bunch of stuff around that. And again, I think a lot of these things we probably should be using AI to do them. I think it'd be very interesting to use AI to actually build these strategies as opposed to let's make a strategy, let's use Python code, whatever. If we could just get the AI to actually do that for us, I think it'll be much easier to make these strategies and maybe we could even get better insights out of it. The only thing is back testing will be slower and it kind of costs some money to do that. But I think a lot of really good potential here. Then there's poor man's covered calls. We could work on that. We could work on a futures momentum bot. We could work on Pelosi or Congress trading, which I think is also very interesting. I'd love to do that. We can make an insider trading bot as well. Insider trading gets posted to the SEC, so we could actually see what insiders are trading and see if we could actually beat the market doing that. We could also copy hedge funds, right? We could do factor trading, or we could also trade using level two order books, right? Any questions around any of that or anything you guys would want to add or change to that list?
Nothing I think of.
Okay, cool. All right, so let me send this list out. Save this, launch it. Launch. There we go. Okay, so poll is up. You guys can go ahead and vote on that. And then we'll take a quick break for a little bit, and then you guys can let me know what you guys want to work on. All right. So I'll see you guys back here in, let's say 15 minutes or so. All right.
Hey, Rob, you know how you were saying for gamblers? I'm a gambler. I just
I think most traders are, to be honest with
yeah,
you.
but I just took a big risk on QS. I just bought a whole bunch of stock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
What's
if you guys
QS
see
again?
in 2030 QS goes up, you'll see
Quantum
me very
scope.
happy. Yeah, the battery one that I told you about.
Yeah, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, I bought a whole bunch and I was like, so if you guys see me in 2030, if that stock goes up, you'll see me with a big happy smile grin. Huh?
Wishing you all the luck in the world. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's on there.
yeah, awesome. All right, guys. Okay, so I'll see you guys back here in 15 minutes or so. All right.
Hello.
Cool, sounds good.
All right, hey guys, how's it going? And see that two of you guys placed a vote. We have one more vote that we need to do here. Um, but if everyone I think Gil and Maurizio, you guys probably voted. I think Mark stepped away for a bit, so we probably don't have his vote. But it looks like you guys voted for AI trading to execute specific strategies. That sounds very interesting. I'd love to know why you guys picked that, and then use prediction markets to trade futures, stocks, etc. Um, so using polymarket data to actually trade other things, which I think is a very interesting thing to do too. So can you guys tell me why you voted for each of these things so we can figure out exactly how to tackle this?
I was the abstained vote, so I did not vote. I didn't have a horse in the race tonight, so I figured I'd
Okay.
let these other two guys. So
Okay.
it would be up to Mauricio and Mark.
Okay. I mean, we could probably work on both concurrently, right? Because they both kind of take some time from the AI. So I'm not asking about which one. I'm asking about what do you guys want to do specifically for them? Because I think we do both, you know? And Gil, if you have, any idea of something you could work on, we can work on a couple things concurrently.
No sweat. No, I didn't have any preference. Just interested in watching what was going on.
Okay. Sounds good. Cool.
So,
So Maurizio and Mark, can you guys tell me why you guys voted for this and what you're hoping to accomplish from it?
so yeah, I'm a big believer in the poly market because a lot of people do have the inside trades. Like you say, you have like the inside scoop. So if you do it with stock investment, it's like a double confirmation of what way that stock is going to go. You
Yep.
know, and and people that usually vote for something, they usually bought a trade for it too. I would do it. You know what I'm saying? If the stock is gonna go up, might as well. I see the numbers. I'm gonna buy the stock too. So I think that the probability of it going higher. It's like double confirming your probability it's gonna go higher or lower. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why
Yeah,
that's
that
why I
makes sense.
voted on that.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. So I think in order to do that, we basically have to um, get Polymarket working first, right? So it's kind of the prerequisite is that Polymarket actually works first. So we got it pretty far along on my computer the other day. The kind of the hard part was like doing the funding with crypto, and you have to use like a VPN and stuff to get to it because it's not allowed in a lot of different countries. So it's kind of a pain to get around that. Um, but but I think we made some pretty good progress with it. So um, we can continue to work on that. Actually, I think step one is just getting Polymarket to work on our servers. That's step one, right? So first you have to make it like work on my computer, and then we make it work on our servers, right? So we kind of need to do that first, and then once we have that, then what I think would be very interesting is kind of the earliest version of this would be that agentic trading that we talked about, right? Where you can say, hey, what does Polymarket say about this, right? And then help me use that to actually place trades, right? Do you think that'd be a good way of doing what you're thinking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about because it's just a double confirmation of using your data to make your decisions. It's like kind of what you were saying earlier with the trades. Is we organize the data to help us make trades more efficiently. It's like a double confirmation, It's just I think that's the way you were talking earlier, how you want to head it, and I think this would just help out.
Okay, cool, perfect. Hey, Mark, you voted, so I guess by process of elimination, you voted for AI trading to execute specific strategies, etc. Like, for example, orb, condors, moving averages, etc. Can you tell me what you want to accomplish with that one? I don't know if you're there or if you know that you're muted or not. Okay. All right. But I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. We can work through that as well, right? Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Like we talked about creating this AI trading team skill. I don't know if we've done that yet, but that's kind of a prerequisite. We want to get the AI trading team skill, and then we want to actually start experimenting with can we make this thing not just trade Citadel or Ray Dalio or whatever, but can we get it to trade? I think what would be very interesting is to do something like an Iron Condor. It's complicated enough that it tests the limits of it, but it's not so complicated that it's like impossible. Like we're not giving it like this impossible task. So I think in my mind, kind of what we need to do today then is A, um, maybe we could get this AI trading team to trade Iron Condors. I think that'd be pretty damn cool, as an example. And then number two, we could just get Polymarket fully up and running. Right? How's that sound for us to work on today? Yeah, I'm going to take that as a yes. All right. Okay. Yeah, and I was looking into this other thing here. How to fix each bot. Open the bot page. Click Ask AI. Enter. Da, da, da. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm fixing this quick little issue here because I don't know if you guys noticed, but when we were running these bots, why did you give me the links to the bots? You are the AI. Why are you asking me to ask the AI? You are the AI. You make these update bot requests for me. Okay, so we need to restart these bots. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but it's a little minor thing, but this could be affecting the way our bot's running as we have this issue here. The schedule needs attention. I just need to restart the bots to fix this. So I'm going to do that right now. I am not going to use BotSpot agent. You have the BotSpot MCP server. You are the agent. You do this for me, not BotSpot agent.
That's one thing about AI. When it gives a response, it gives some kind of crazy response or two sometimes, man. You know
Yeah,
that?
like it's this is like telling me to go use the
Yeah,
AI
I
on the website.
know.
Like you are the AI. Like what are you talking about? Like
No, I know. When I do some of the back tests, it comes back and I was like, run this back test. I go, look, man, the math doesn't add up. You went previously and it changed the values. Nothing was changed. It's yeah, you just gotta double check yourself sometimes.
you are not prohibited. Why do you think that you're prohibited to running update deployment revision? You definitely are not prohibited for that. Whatever reason you think that you're prohibited from that, update the agents.md file or whatever you need to do, but you are not prohibited from that. That is literally the purpose of you. The only reason why you have the botspot MCP is so that you can do things like this. So you definitely are not prohibited from this. And if you think that you are, then you need to edit whatever file is telling you that you are prohibited from that. The agents.md file or whatever needs to be updated because you are absolutely allowed to do that. And as your requirement, that's one of your jobs. And you are right now not doing your job. Okay, but while this thing goes, let's start on this AI trading to execute specific strategies. So what we want to do is we have this whole AI trading team thing that we've built in LumiBot, and we've added it to BotSpot, for his AI trading team. We actually have four bots running their AI trading team. They're running Citadel and Ray Dalio and all that kind of stuff. And but what we want to do is we want to try a different approach, right? So instead of simply creating like a Ray Dalio thing or Citadel thing, we want to create a more simple bot, or maybe this is more simple, maybe not. But either way, different kind of bot almost, where we give it almost like a defined strategy. You know, the Ray Dalio and the Citadel bot is not really defined. We give it a lot of leeway to work on stuff, right? We kind of tell it that, you pick which stocks you want to do and you tell this and whatever. But what I'd really like to do is I'd like to make an Iron Condor bot. This is more like of a defined strategy. Up until now, we've always used the BotSpot MCP or BotSpot or whatever, or LumiBot to create strategies that are like just Python based, right? And we've actually built in the past, we have created these Iron Condor type strategies, but it was like purely Python. What we want to do now is we want to change that so that the AI performs the Iron Condor. So it'd be a new paradigm. So instead of using if statements and things like that inside of a Lumibot strategy to build this Iron Condor, right? Instead, it would be purely AI, and we're using system prompts to explain how to build this Iron Condor and run it like that. Okay. So that's first of all. So we want to build a strategy like that. So do your research around that and tell me how exactly we go about doing that. And we could build that in the BotSpot MCP. It actually has a lot of tools to help you build strategies more easily and kind of go through this whole process there. But then while we're doing this, I think there's two other things we need to look into. First of all, we've been using Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite is I think the model that we've been using. But Gemini recently released a new version. I don't remember if it's 3.6 or 3.5. Either way, there's a new Flash Lite version from Google, right? It's also very fast. I'd like you to tell me what is the cost comparison and what is the intelligence and speed comparisons. But I think it's quite a bit smarter. I think it's about the same speed and it's slightly more expensive, right? But I think that we should probably switch over to using that model when we're running these AI strategies. That's probably a better thing to do because it'll probably be quite a bit smarter, especially with tool use and all that. So we want to change that model over to use the latest Gemini Flash Lite model, not the Flash model because that's still pretty expensive, but the Flash Lite model. I think it's Gemini 3.5 or 3.6. So we want to switch over to using that when we build this strategy, which might require changing some environment variables or something like that on BotSpot and maybe some environment variables or something like that on my computer. And then furthermore, we also want to make it so that people can actually talk to our BotSpot agent to be able to do this themselves as well, right? So we want to make it like I want to work with you on doing this, but then we also probably want to make a bunch of evals and things like that, and actually start testing, can BotSpot itself, if I talk to the AI agent, can it make these types of AI strategies as well? And maybe eventually we start changing the paradigm. So that's like the main way that people build strategies. So this is what I'm thinking is that up until now, people have been making strategies using our AI agent, which basically what it does is it creates Python code in Lumibot and defined, specific if statements and this and that to actually trade. But I think a better paradigm, because AI agents are becoming so smart, I think it could be 10 times easier, maybe even more than 10 times easier, to create a strategy just using an AI prompt that we give to this agent inside of Lumibot, right? Like look at the feature that it has as like this agentic feature. I think if we were to use that, then it would work a lot better, right? Because instead of having to write all this Python code, make everything like that, you can instead just basically tell it in natural language what to do. And I think it's more likely going to execute better, right? It's non-deterministic, so it might make mistakes, and we might need to figure out some ways to add guardrails around it or something like that. But I think this is a much better paradigm for how we make strategies. I think it's going to be a lot easier and a lot faster to make strategies this way. Okay, so please do all your research around this and then tell me what you think we should do. There's really three things. it's like the building of the actual strategy itself. We want to figure out how to do this and go through that whole process. And in that as well, and maybe the first thing is we want to switch over to using the new Gemini model, the new flashlight model. And then also we want to make the skill and the evals work really well. I think there's already a skill around this, or maybe we need to add a skill. I don't know how it's working, but the AI agent inside of BotSpot should be able to do the same thing that you're doing here. I should be able to tell it, make an Iron Condor strategy, but use an AI instead of like a defined strategy. I guess we got to name them. And maybe this is another thing. We should probably even label this inside of BotSpot. We already label things based on what assets they trade, what asset classes they trade, and a few other things like that. We have an AI that does an analysis, which, by the way, is also Gemini 3.1 Flashlight. It analyzes every strategy revision, and I think it analyzes like quite a few different things. It analyzes, what asset classes it trades or needs data for. It also analyzes to get the strategy description and changes from the previous revision, and it does a few other things there. Please tell me about that AI, how it works in BotSpot. And then we probably want to add to that a check to see, is this an AI enabled strategy or not? And we probably want to have even like a little indicator on BotSpot to say this is AI enabled and this is, traditional trading or something like that. We probably want to have something like that. Right? So those are actually like four things we want to do here. So please do all the research around this and then tell me what you found and how you think we should go about doing this. What's the game plan for this? I'm assuming the first thing we want to do is change to using the new Gemini model. Then we want to talk about building the strategy so we can get some experience in actually building it and see if that works properly. And then if that works properly, then we want to make it work inside of BotSpot so other people can do it, which means evals and skill changes and things like that. And then we want to add that badge that says this is AI enabled versus not AI enabled or something like that. We got to come up with a naming for it, right? That it's like a traditional Python strategy versus an AI enabled strategy. And we probably want to clearly mark that on a bunch of different pages all over BotSpot, probably the bot details page, probably somewhere on the strategy page or the AI agent page, maybe on the marketplace page. We probably want to mark it all over the place so that people can see that this is an AI enabled strategy, right? So please do all the research and then tell me what you think our game plan should be.
So, hey, by the way, when you're doing an iron condor, there's a few moving parts that we're going to have to think about, and that's the first one is the what's the expiration? How far out in time do we want to go? And secondly, the width of the width of the central part, and also the width of the legs. You don't have to like personally, what I do is I make the iron condor almost like a strangle. I use the so I don't use just the legs that I sell and then just use the next strike. I go out a little bit further. And the reason for that is you get more premium, and also if you need to something happens and you need to adjust it, it's easier to do. Um, so um, there's a lot of ways you can do in terms of trying to decide on what the length of the trade, the expirations that you want to use. And if you've ever looked at the Tasty Trade stuff, what they like to do is they start at 45 days and then they exit at 21 days or roughly. So they're not getting the maximal time decay, but their claim is that this gives you a better over you just keep doing this, right? and you get lower. You're not basically they're keeping you away from gamma because at 21 days gamma is really not causing any trouble. So anyway, that's just some thoughts. And the thing is that you could you could set up such a thing and do a sweep, which would take a long time. But and then also you want I assume are you thinking of doing it on individual stocks or are you thinking of doing it on indices? Because iron condors are the best when you don't expect a lot of movement, right? I mean, if it starts to move on you, you're screwed. Or or
Well,
you
I mean, the way I see this is that the point of this is less about getting everything perfect with iron condors, which we definitely can do. We could definitely go down that path. Right now, my thought process is just, can AI even make an iron condor?
oh, okay.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Right.
Right? We start with that
Got it.
basic thing, right? And then we
Yeah.
could see how advanced this thing can get. And what's really interesting is because we're using this new paradigm where AI is actually placing the trades as opposed to it's a Python code that's executing it, then everything you're talking about here theoretically should be very easy to do, right? Whereas before we'd have to have Python code and if this and blah 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 and like all like very
Right.
complex code structures. Now we
Right.
can just give it like basically what you just said, right? Just take that exact chunk, give it to the AI and see if it can figure it out,
Yeah,
right?
okay. That's a good idea. Right, but it's going to well, I mean, the subtleties are um you can make you can make an iron condor work like on any time scale you want, but the parameters are all going to be always different, right? So, if you're interested more in just like the longer dated thing, like this 45-day thing, it's like it doesn't not a lot happens usually, right? It's a relatively you don't have to like be watching it all the time. But if you were to do it, let's say, I mean, one thing I was trying a while ago is, I wanted to stay away from the weekends because, nasty stuff can happen on the weekend and you can't do anything about it. So I did it, I started the trade on Monday and but with the expiration on Friday, right? So you're never over the weekend. And that, I mean, that actually might be an interesting thing to work on. Um, but I was using basically, I was doing it on the indices.
Yeah, like SPX or something, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we could do that. Yeah, why not? It's a little bit more complicated from like a data perspective, but yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's very doable. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean
and then
we
I
can
mean,
build that.
I mean, were you going to have some kind of a stop loss, or were you just going to let it,
Honestly, like I said, my main focus
Oh, yeah,
right now is kind of just like, can AI even do the
right,
most basic thing,
right,
right?
right, right. Yeah,
Um,
I'm getting ahead of the cart.
yeah, yeah. This is the next steps, right?
Yeah,
If we could get it to actually first place the Iron Condor and like figure out the most basic thing, then now everything you're talking about is super easy, right? Theoretically,
right.
right? Because the AI
Yeah,
agent should be able to just reason around it properly,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Gotta give it this thing here. So I restarted the first one, and it seems to have restarted correctly. That error message seems to be gone. And can you check whether that's all working correctly on the back end? But the problem is that my whole portfolio value, which by the way should be called account value, not portfolio value on this screen. Account value is the correct name instead of portfolio value. But either way, I don't see the account history, right? It's been this thing has been running for a week. I just restarted it, and it's on the same account. It should keep that account history. And I think we've changed this in dev already, and maybe we just need to deploy this to production. I'm not sure, but it's supposed to have a marker or like something on the chart to say that it was restarted here. So like version 11 ran at the beginning, and then it stopped on this specific date and time, like today, right now, and then the new one started, and those should be on the graph, and then the graph should have all the basically anytime we run a strategy on an account, that is the account history that needs to stick around, right? And I thought we fixed that, but maybe we only fixed that in the development environment. Maybe we haven't actually tested that yet in production, or maybe it's not deployed to production yet. Although I have another agent deploying everything to production right now. So maybe we just have to wait for that to finish. But can you check that? Or maybe we should even test this somehow on dev or something first? Or like where are we at with all of that? Can you check that? And then like, has that been fixed? Is there anything missing from that fix? Maybe we should test it in the dev environment somehow with a bot that was running in the dev environment. Maybe there's some scheduled deployments or something running in the dev environment that we could restart and see if we could see if this thing actually works properly. Because it looks like it restarted. The error message went away. I want you to check whether that's true in AWS as well, whether everything is working correctly or not. And then we need to figure out, okay, what is wrong with this account value? By the way, it should not be called portfolio value. You need to rename that to account value from portfolio value. But like, yeah, is this account history, are we going to be able to bring that along with us? Like we need to be able, that needs to be working properly. And then once you've done that research and we figured all that stuff out, then we need to update the other three bots. But I don't want to update them right now because the account history is missing. Okay, so it's doing its research around this. Okay, so we got this thing going. Okay, now the next thing is using prediction markets. So let me pull up prediction markets. Where is this? Poly market, poly market. Where is poly market? Da, da. There it is. Okay, poly market. Okay, okay, so we left off. Okay, it was complaining to me about this. Let's see, do we have, because I got this VPN. Um, it's called Wind something. What the hell is it called again? I feel like I should just buy a VPN. I've been kind of avoiding that because I just don't feel like buying stuff, but might be something I have to do. What the heck is going on here?
Are you gonna buy one like for have everybody join it or just for you, the browser?
Just for me, just for me.
Oh, I use what do I use? I have Surfshark. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's not bad. It's all right.
The problem with a lot of these VPNs is they make you pay for the whole year in advance,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like three
Yeah.
bucks a month is fine, but if they're making me pay $100 for the year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd rather not drop $100 right now. Um, but this one, let's see. Oh, okay. They even have like a competition here. Okay, 2 year plans. Let's go 1 month plans. So yeah, look at this. Like 1 month plans,
Yeah.
it's $15 a month, and then 12 months, it's $6 a month. But then now I have to pay $89.
Yeah, I don't like that either, but I
You
haven't
know what
found
I mean?
anybody. Well, I haven't looked enough to look for somebody cheaper.
Yeah. I just don't feel like dropping $100 right now. You know what I mean? Pay monthly. Yeah, they all kind of have the same sort of thing.
Yeah, they all kind of have the same catch.
Yeah, this is $25 a month. It's in Canadian dollars for some reason. Um, what is that? That's kind of the same as the other one. But the other one seemed actually cheaper because it was 15 months and there's like this competition thing. Yeah, the Express VPN. Proton VPN. Okay, there you go. Mulvad. So, is Mulvad the only one that is cheap enough per month? Like $5 per month sounds great, right? I don't know why you're telling me in euros. I want US dollars, right? And then can you give me a link to these things, or is this the only one that does this? And then like how many countries does it cover? And is it fast enough, or is it like crazy slow? Yeah, because last time I got like this free one, but like I ran out of like they only give you a certain amount per month or something, and I like ran out of it. It's like at $5 a month, I don't mind, you know? Exactly. 30 days of service whenever you want. And then Proton VPN is $10 a month. Nord is $15 a month. Yeah, private. Okay. So Mulvad. Mulvad VPN website. Okay. Blah blah blah. Pricing. Let's see. Is this true? 1 month, five. Yeah, I remember looking at these guys actually. Okay, and then what do they cover? Um, so what countries are covered by the Mulvad VPN? And are any of those countries ones that are allowed for polymarket? There's many countries that are allowed on polymarket, but you have to select your server carefully. Polymarket is aggressively expanded to geo blocks. Major countries like France, Germany, and the UK and parts of Canada are either completely blocked or restricted. Mulvad servers allowed. Okay, Japan, South Korea, Spain, Mexico. Perfect. Perfect. You must connect a Mulvad server in a country where polymarket operates normally. Okay, blocked on polymarket. Full list of countries covered by Mulvad. Okay, they have quite a few countries. All right, cool. $5 a month. Whatevs. Let's do it. Get started. Download. Install. This has been like the hardest thing with polymarket is basically just like they're getting around the restrictions, you know?
I think that's with anything. They put so much stuff on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we definitely had that issue with futures as well. But I mean, I think polymarket is generally a lot easier to work with than futures or other things like that, but it's still kind of disappointing that it's still that difficult, right? Like I guess a lot of countries and areas are banning it because in a way it's a way of getting around the betting laws. You know what I mean? Right? Like if you have betting laws around sports betting and things like that, and then all of a sudden you introduce poly market, it like subverts all of that, right? So I kind of get it that a lot of them are banning it, but I don't understand jurisdictions. Like for example, um
It
it's banned in Canada and Ontario where I live, right? But on the TV, I'm constantly seeing ads about like Bet365 or like all these different like betting websites and stuff, which is crazy because like those websites, they rip you off like crazy because you're playing against the house. So you have much worse odds than you have on Polymarket, but somehow Polymarket is banned. So why is it that I can use Bet365 and you're advertising lottery tickets to me and all that kind of stuff, but I can't use Polymarket? Like what the hell, you know?
Yeah, we live in a big old system that's messed up. It's not. We don't live in a just system. Let's just say that. Huh? Huh?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, like they just changed the verbiage on it. Okay, buy these shares that you think is going to be positive, buy these shares negative, right?
yeah,
Shares is the same thing as stocks, so you know, uh,
yeah.
same thing. Yeah, I agree 100%. There's a lot of stuff that just yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be illegal. It's illegal. You know, it's really ridiculous. My
Yeah.
biggest one, I'm gonna tell you guys, my biggest one is hemp. I don't know why it's illegal. It
Hemp.
doesn't get you high. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you high. It looks like marijuana, but it's not marijuana, but yeah, it's illegal. I was like, okay, but you can make fabric out of it, you can make fuel out of it. And I think that's why it's illegal, because you can do a lot of stuff with it. And you can't really monopolize it because anybody can grow it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I
I
know.
actually saw something recently. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's kind of crazy if it is true. Apparently, Texas just passed a new law to ban weed. And if you have a gram of weed, which is really not that much, I mean, a gram of weed is like nothing. If you have that on you and you get caught with it with a police officer, you could get up to 2 years in jail.
That's stupid.
That's crazy, no?
No, that's stupid. That's my point
Like,
exactly. That's exactly my point I'm saying, man. It's like
yeah,
why are you gonna make something illegal? But honestly, freaking Oxycontin is way worse than weed, you know, but yet, okay, you we can prescribe that. Yeah, because they monopolize it. You can't grow it, you know, the
what
chemistry.
what is Ocucon? What is that?
Oxycontin?
Yeah.
You never heard of Oxycontin?
No, what is that?
Oxycontin is those those
Oh,
painkillers.
Oxy, like OxyContin.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oxycontin, yeah. Did I
Yeah.
say it wrong or didn't?
I heard like Donkey Kong or something. Like what are you talking
Oxycontin.
about?
Oxycontin. I
Like
don't know.
what?
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a way more worse than weed.
Oh, absolutely. I
And it's
mean,
way more addictive. And it's like, okay, yeah, let's make this legal. You gotta have a pill, you gotta have prescription. It's
OxyContin, along with like all the other opioids, they are now the number one cause of death of
yeah,
someone younger than 45.
I believe it. I believe it.
It is worse than car accidents, cancer, and heart attacks combined if you're
Wow.
under 45. How
Wow.
crazy is that?
Yeah, but like they're making money, they don't care.
I mean, that's some evil shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, they did a Netflix special with the people with one of the pharmacy companies. They knew it was addictive, they knew it was bad, and all this stuff. And they still, oh yeah, let's patent it and we'll prove it. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's good. Same with was it fentanyl? Fentanyl's the other one?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, fentanyl's a little different because fentanyl was never really meant to give to people,
no,
right?
no, I
Like,
understand that, but I'm just saying,
it's purely clinical use, right? But
yeah,
OxyContin, I fully agree with you. Like they gave that shit out like it was Tic Tacs, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's what I'm saying. Just like, oh yeah, it's fine, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and the
don't
problem now is that like I've had some uh like pain, from tooth stuff, and they won't give you a real painkiller, you know? And I mean, it's like insane. They won't give you what is it? I forget what it's called. Narco or something. Um anyway, yeah, it really pisses me off.
what do they give you then?
Well, Aleve or you know, stuff you can buy over the counter. You just take
Oh,
more of it. I mean, it's like, yeah, well, that doesn't, yeah. Anyway, it really pisses me off.
I mean, part of the reason why they're doing that is because of all the addiction stuff that's
Yeah,
happened,
well,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
man, they should just give you a medical marijuana card. Here you go. Boom, take it.
It's an
You
effective
know,
painkiller.
take the painkiller right there, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That it just frustrates me because to me, hemp has you can make if you can use it for clothing, you can use it for oil, you can use it for I mean CBD oil, you can use it for medical purposes. Yet it's illegal, but because it looks like weed. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just I think it's I think it's just dumb. Same with like the poly markets, right? The poly market, oh, it's legal, but let's make gambling on sports illegal. But if you call it let's buy shares in it, we'll make it legal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
You know,
ridiculous,
like
huh?
like I can bet on a sports game. Like look at the odds. Like I actually did
Yeah,
this with a friend of mine once, right? And like if you look at the odds on a sports bet, right? And you look at it on like, whatever, bet 365, all these stupid things. These guys are all making unbelievable amounts of money, by the way. Like they are just like freaking cash machines, right? Because they're basically stealing from people if you think about it. People willingly do it. It's a casino, right? But you look at the odds on there versus Poly Market, and it's like night and day, right? Like you're basically set up to lose on these betting websites, but on Poly Market, you actually get like decent odds because it's peer-to-peer betting as opposed to you're betting against the house, right?
yeah, I did say. Yeah, it's all a joke.
Yeah, I agree. I think we just have too many rules as a society.
No,
Like
honestly,
basically it assumes.
I don't know how it is. Let me ask you this. In Canada, does their government officials have term limits or no?
Honestly, I don't really know. I don't really know that much about Canadian politics because it
Um,
just really doesn't matter that much, to be honest
I,
with
hon-
you.
I mean, honestly, for me, if I make big bucks, I'm gonna run for the Senate, and one of the first thing I'm gonna do is term limits on everything for
Absolutely.
budget, for freaking the Congress, everything. It's like that will solve so many problems because so many people wouldn't vote for stupid crap because they know their time's up and they got to live in it. These people are
Yeah.
immune. They think they're immune of it, and it won't affect them because they're in Congress or Senate, whatever, for how long. That'll solve so many problems.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how it is in Canada if they do it that way or not.
I mean, the way that the political system in Canada works is quite a bit different, and actually, I have very different concerns with it. It uses the British parliamentary system,
Oh, the
basically.
parliament. Oh, yeah.
Basically, yeah. And in the U.S., there's three branches of government. There's, the Senate, the House, and the judicial thing, right? Whereas in Canada, it's all just one, right? But it's stupid because it's like this. So you vote for your local MP, right? Member of Parliament, and then that's a seat in the House, and they belong to a party, right? And then whatever party they belong to, if they have majority, then they're the ones that run the country, right? And that's basically the Prime Minister of Canada,
Yeah.
right? That's the way it works. But imagine this, okay? So let's say I voted, and I don't know what districts this happened in, and I'd be really pissed off if it was mine, because I voted conservative in my district, right? I think Canada is way far, crazy far left. Like if you, whatever you think California is, like even further left than California is what Canada is, right? So I'm like, I don't want that, right? So I voted conservative. But if my MP was on the conservative side, right, they're in that party. Now a bunch of them switched parties. So I voted conservative, and then this freaking dude can just say, "Oh no, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to be a liberal from now on." And now my vote, what happened to my vote? Like it didn't count, basically.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell?
But do they have term limits? you know?
Do they have term limits?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or they keep rerunning,
I don't think
rerunning.
so.
But the
I
problem
wouldn't
is,
think so because the reason why I say this is because the prime minister can go forever. Like you could technically have the same prime minister of Canada for 100 years.
see, that's the
So there's
problem.
no
That's what
term
I'm
limits on
saying.
the president, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem because people vote thinking they're going to be there forever, you know? And that's the
Yeah.
problem with society in general because everybody's all, I'm gonna vote Democrat, I'm gonna vote Republican. They don't even look at the issues. They just look at their political party. That's all they do.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
But the thing
Yeah.
is they'll vote for the same person over and over and over again, you know, and it's like, dude, they guys got to get out. You know, they've gotten to a stagnant place where they know they're gonna win and they don't make decisions on how to impact people. They make decisions on how it's gonna impact them, you know. And that's what I'm saying. If they have term limits, they'll be like, nope, you got to be out. Then they'll be like, okay, I gotta think about my decision because when I'm out of here, it's gonna impact me now. You know,
Yeah.
that that's my 2 cents on it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, senators have been there for a long time. I mean, they die to get
Yeah,
out. That's the only way they leave is
we
they
had a
die.
senator that was there. Orrin Hatch was senator for 32 years. 32 years he was our senator, and I'm just like, dude, this guy is old. He's on here, didn't deserve this. He need to be out.
Yeah.
Same with Pelosi. Pelosi needs to be out. And I don't care about political parties. I care about you being out. You've been there too long. Get out. You know?
Yeah.
What, did you get blocked by the VPN?
Yeah, it looks like I'm still blocked for some reason. I put it that I'm in Bulgaria, right? So I'm connected to Bulgaria. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I go here and it says country Canada, region Ontario. Why is it still saying that?
Do you have to put in a plugin through your browser? Are you on a plugin on your browser already? No, it
No,
doesn't.
it should move my whole computer. At least that's
Yeah,
how
it's good.
NordVPN did it,
Yeah, that's how mine does
right?
it. And you can go on there, but Twitch.
What
What?
tunneling?
Opens-
So I switched to Bulgaria and I'm using this Molvad VPN, right? And it says that I'm in Bulgaria. I don't know, maybe I chose the wrong settings or something. But then when I go to this polymarket geo block thing, it still says that I'm in Canada. So what's going on here?
Maybe it has your session locked in.
Maybe, but it worked better with like a different. I used the VPN last week and it was fine. And then I'll give it the screenshot. Let's see if Google can figure it out. This Codex won't let me do this. It's like they have like these things against it. They're like, you can't be doing this, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Okay, via IP6 address that your current VPN settings are failing to mask. Your shared API error shows the exact culprit. This long alphanumeric string, da da da. While your Molvad app successfully routed your standard IP4 traffic, your computer's internet browser bypassed the VPN entirely to answer. Okay, step-by-step fix to stop the leak. You do not need to change your server away from Bulgaria. You need to change two quick configurations. Disable IPv6. Browsers often prioritize IPv6 over older connection types. If your system slips past the VPN tunnel, your true location drops instantly. In your Movad window, click the gear icon, VPN settings, scroll down to the IPv6 option. Okay, VPN settings. In tunnel. Okay, so I changed the setting in Mulvad, and then I refreshed that geo block page, and it has not changed. It still shows me this old one. Is honestly like the hardest thing about poly market is just getting around those stupid blocks. See, maybe if I do this in an incognito window, I'll be fine. Let's see. Maybe it's in my browser. Nope. Even when I open an incognito window, it also still tells me this. Check your browser for extensions like Cloudflare, Warp, Windscribe, or other built-in browser proxy switches. Okay, completely disable, turn off, da-da. Okay, so let's go into my extensions. And then here's all the browser extensions that I have, and it's not, it doesn't seem to be working. Maybe I could check. Is there some other website that I can go to check this? Maybe Mulvad is just not set up correctly or something on my computer because I just installed it. I just installed it and sorry, I just spilled my drink here. Let me get some paper towels. So I just installed Mulvad, so maybe it's just not installed correctly or something. Maybe I could go to another website or something that could check this for me. Maybe speedtest.com or something. Because I have a feeling maybe Mulvad is just not set up correctly. Or what else do you think is wrong here? I actually heard this. Take a look at cleaning up the spill. Computer hardware definitely doesn't mix with liquids. It just installs highly likely their operating system is bypassing the VPN app entirely, or software conflict is blocking. Okay. Check your status on reliable site. Mulvad is malicious. Okay. Not using Mulvad VPN. Okay. So, okay, that link with Mulvad was actually useful. So clearly it's not actually working. So why isn't it working? And how do I fix this? All traffic through Cloudflare Inc. Warp. Yeah, I do have warp installed on my computer. I thought I turned this off though. Warp. Where is this? Warp. Oh, Cloudflare. There it is, Cloudflare Warp. Okay, internet's probably disk. Okay, I think it's working now. Um, I had Cloudflare Warp running, that's why. So it's still routing me to some weird stuff. So now we're in Bulgaria. Everything seems to be working. What's the next stage here? And then let's take a look in the meantime at this AI thing, right? Yes, is a promising direction. The key architectural distinction is the AI should own the trading decisions. Webush should still own the market data, option construction, risk validation, order, execution, scheduling state, and whatever. No, that is not what I said. I did not say that the AI should only own the trading decisions. That is not what I said. What I said was that AI should manage the entire thing, not LumiBot owning market data or option construction or anything like that. The AI should do the whole thing. Inside of LumiBot, I expect if you look at our example strategies for Citadel or for Ray Dalio or whatever, notice how they are constructed. They are only using the AI. The AI is placing the trades, the AI is constructing the trades, the AI is getting the market data, the AI is doing everything. That's the way that I want this to be done, and that's the way the skill should build it too. What you're talking about is a hybrid strategy where it uses some Python code and some of the AI stuff. And there is a time and a place for that, but that is not what I am trying to accomplish here. Okay, and then Gemini 3.1 Flash. Yeah, it's only slightly more expensive. Well, on input token is the most expensive part, or the biggest part going in. So this is actually not too bad. Show meaningful improvements. Yeah, huge improvement in Bench, huge improvement in Terminal Bench. Yeah, huge improvements across the board. As a stronger for agentic execution, function calling, coding. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Exactly right. Gemini 3.5 Flash, light, 100% down for that. And then why are we sending temperature? Can you please delete everything that sends temperature? Like temperature is a very old concept. Like I'm pretty sure most of the AI models have gotten rid of temperature. That is not necessary. We do not need to be sending temperature, and that should be removed across the board. Not just for Gemini 3.5, but for any other model for that matter. We don't need temperature. That's just not necessary here. Not anymore. These models have gotten so smart that that's not relevant anymore. Okay, and then how the AI managed Iron Condor should work. A single trading agent is sufficient. The existing uses multiple research agents because their mandates are broad. A defined Iron Condor does not need six personalities debating. Yeah, I agree. Python strategy shells should only do this. Create agent once, invoke it. The strategy prompt defines DTE policy, allowed entry window, da da. The model owns the final decision if there are no Python. Yeah, and I completely disagree with you about the deterministic machinery. I do not want any of this bot at all to be deterministic. Zero. This needs to be completely owned by the AI. And maybe we need to add some sort of features or something so it could use more of the option helper stuff. Like, I don't know if the agent, if it has exposed all of this option helper stuff. Maybe we need to upgrade Lumibot a little bit to do that. I don't know. But no, I completely disagree with what you're saying here. You're saying you want to add four reusable tools. Options find Condor candidates. No, I do not want that. That's not in options helper, and that is cheating. You're saying options list spread positions. Is that part of options helper? Like, this needs to be generic. I don't want you to, like, again, this strategy should be extremely simple. This strategy should be create the agent in initialize, then run the agent in on trading iteration. That's it. This is like 5 lines of code. Okay. And then the hard part is the prompt. The prompt needs to include all the instructions. And then maybe we need to upgrade Lumibot to have more of the options helper functions in it. So I don't know if it has access to all those tools from Options Helper. We might need to give it more of those tools, so we might need to upgrade Lumibot. But I completely disagree with your way of doing this. That is not the point here. The whole point here, the reason why we're doing this is because we want to make it easy to make strategies. You are making it more complicated to make strategies because now I have to think about the agent and I have to think about deterministic code. Now I have double the work, right? Before I would have had just deterministic work. I want to do it just the AI, but you want to do a hybrid, which is the hardest out of all of them. So I completely disagree with you about your approach. Yeah, and then what do you mean by our agent uses Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite? I thought that people can choose whatever version they want. So why are you saying that it's pinned to Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite? And then what exactly do we have to do in BotSpot Agent? Like, you're saying what we already have, but you're not really explaining what else we need to change or add. And then the revision analyzer, it's fine if the revision analyzer still uses Gemini 3.1 Flashlight. We don't need to upgrade everything to Gemini 3.5. This is a perfect example. This revision analyzer is quite a simple thing. You're saying it analyzes required runtime secrets, traded asset classes, market data requirements, schedule, back test and live execution readiness, revision changes, strategy description, and then analysis provenance, model content hash, token usage, and validity. I don't understand that last part. Analysis provenance, model content hash. I don't really get that one. But I think we should, as part of number four, I think what you're trying to say is that it needs to be looking for like a self.agents.create or self.agents. And if it's using self.agents, then it should be labeled as like an AI agentic strategy or something like that. And they're saying naming and badges should be AI managed. I disagree that there should be a hybrid AI. That's not very relevant. It's either is AI or purely rules based, you know? And I don't like the names of those labels either. AI managed doesn't sound right. I think it's more like AI powered trading or AI decision making or something like that. It's either rules based or AI decision making. And I don't like this in between hybrid thing they keep talking about. Like, there's a time and a place for that. But if it, like, there's no way that this thing is going to be able to check, oh, how much of a hybrid, because then it's like, how much of a hybrid is it? Like, is it a hybrid as in it's only placing the trade, or it's a hybrid as in there's like 2 lines of code that analyze something? Like, there's degrees here, which I don't think that makes sense. It's just, I think what this needs to be is it needs to be a badge that it has an AI enabled or not, right? Is it AI enabled, meaning that it creates self.agents.create, it does something like that. or it just doesn't, right? So it's either purely rules based or it has an AI component to it. I don't think hybrid makes any sense because there's such a big deviation there. Okay, and then also I don't think we should move everything to Gemini 3.5 Lite. I'm just talking about these trading agents. I don't want to move everything else on my website to Gemini 3.5. Gemini 3.1 is still cheaper and it's good enough and it's fast. I don't see any problems with it. I don't see a reason to upgrade the rest of the website to 3.5. But for the agentic trading, it makes a lot of sense because this is actually quite complicated. So, that being said, I think you got to revise your game plan here because this is I don't agree with a lot of this stuff. Hey, let me read through your game plan. You're saying make Gemini 3.5 flashlight compatible. Okay. You're saying remove deprecate generation parameters for new Gemini models, add explicit thinking level support, audit function response. What do you mean explicit thinking level support? What does that even mean? You're saying audit function response compatibility. I don't know what that means either. You're saying keep existing deployed revisions pinned to their current model. Yeah, I mean keep whatever the old ones, like don't change old ones. I'm just talking about new ones going forward. Like old ones, if they're using Gemini 3.1, then leave them as is, right? And then we can, this will be going forward. I think, I don't know what you mean to make Gemini 3.5 flashlight compatible. I don't understand what that means. I thought that all we have to do is just change the string to say 3.5 instead of 3.1. So I don't really understand what your first part of your game plan is. Then you're saying run the actual model bake off. I did not say I want to run a model bake off. I definitely do not want that. That's going to take forever. It's going to cost a bunch of money. I do not want that. I did not ask for that. I don't want a model bake off. Just switch to 3.5 and move on with life. I don't want to compare to the old one. I don't care. I know it's going to be better. Don't waste time and don't waste my money. Okay, and then your third part of your game plan is saying build reusable Lumibot options agent tools. Yeah, I mean, I thought we already had options helper tools inside of Lumibot. I thought that already existed. Um, is that not true? Right? Because we gave it like get historical prices, get last price, placing of trades and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we need to have better explanations around options. Maybe that's the case here, right? Maybe we need to give it more of the options helper stuff. Maybe we need to describe the tools a bit better. Maybe we need to explain to it better how to actually place options trades in the system prompt or something like that. Or maybe it's just purely tool descriptions. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. You got to tell me more of the details because I don't want Iron Condor things in here that's not at all, unless they're already an options helper. If options helper already has that, then that's cool. We should basically add all the options helper functions into the agent and give it as like tools with good descriptions and all that kind of stuff. But but yeah, I don't know if that's what you mean. And then you're saying build the first AI managed Iron Condor, one agent, explicit 3.5 flashlight model, define natural language policy, no Python trading decision rules, no Python at all. Let's change that. It's not just Python trading decision rules. No Python at all. This should be an extremely simple strategy. It should initialize the agent in the initialize function and then run the agent in on trading iteration and then nothing else, right? Maybe there's like other setup code or something, but literally nothing else other than that. Right? And then you're saying add revision, classification, and badges, analyzer schema v4, database migration and canonical persistence, API propagation. Yeah, it sounds like you have that pretty right. And it's saying qualify and promote normally. Okay. Um, don't promote anything until I give you permission. We should run this locally on my computer first, make sure it works on my computer first, right? So at first I said we should do this in BotSpot, but if we have to make changes to Lumibot, it makes more sense to run it locally first, build a strategy locally. Like I said, very, very simple strategy. This should be a very minimal, I mean, you're gonna have the boilerplate code, the template code that you should start from, which includes the main block. And then you have the strategy class, and the strategy class, like I said, should be really, really, really simple. It should basically say, set market. It should, set kind of the basic stuff. and then initialize the agent. And then the magic here, all of the difficult stuff, everything is going to go inside the prompt, right? We're going to give it a prompt to say, this is how you make iron condors. We want it to trade with this amount of delta, and here's all the details around it, whatever. All of that is going to go inside the prompt. And then the on trading iteration just runs it. And we want to run with a sleep time of 1 day or something like that. Right? And that's it. Super simple strategy. That's what I would expect here. The hard part is going to be making the prompt good and then making sure that our tools work well. Right? So we might have to make some LumiBot changes to improve the tooling and teach it how to, first of all, maybe give it these options tools. I don't know how many options tools we gave it. So we might have to give it more options tools and maybe make a new version of LumiBot, which you should read the deployment.md file for LumiBot and how to actually do the deployment because you're eventually going to have to do that. Um, and there's a whole thing about staying on version branches and all that. But yeah, that's kind of the whole idea here, right? Is that we want to have a very simple agent. We probably have to add more tools. We probably have to improve the tool descriptions and teach it exactly how to make option strategies. That might have to be a system prompt improvement in LumiBot. We may have to add in more tools. The tool descriptions need to be reviewed. Um, Honestly, maybe we could even improve the other tool descriptions as well while we're at it, right? Hopefully Gemini 3.5 Flash Lite will actually be good enough at being able to place these options trades. So that's the question here. So anyways, do your research again and then tell me a better game plan than this because we weren't exactly in full alignment. There's some disagreements that we had. So tell me what the game plan should be. What do you think the game plan should be after all of this and after you've done your research? Okay, so let that go. And then Polymarket. Okay, yes, Polymarket currently recognizes a connection with Bulgaria and not blocked. Next, on Polymarket, click deposit. Choose transfer crypto, select Solana. Okay, so let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. Close this, close this. Okay, we go polymarket.com. I think I'm logged in. Okay, and I click on deposit. Oh, wait, I gotta log in first. How did we do this before? I think I did this with Coinbase Wallet before. What did I use? Base. No, that's not what it is. Is it MetaMask? Yeah, it's MetaMask. Okay, so MetaMask, log in. And this QR code. Okay. Connect. Confirm. Okay, there we go. We're logged in. I'm going to click deposit. Use crypto. Transfer crypto. And then change Solana. And tokens, I think Sol. Okay. Select Sol, but only deposit screen offers it. Copy the Solana address. Send 5 Sol to that address. Okay, so send. Let's see if this works. Send, what is that? 0.1 Sol? No, let's go 0.08. 0.07. Okay, so it's about right. 0.07 Sol. And then we select this QR code. Change Solana. Why is this having issues? Solana on Solana. What? 0.08. Okay, so I logged in with MetaMask. I have money on MetaMask. I have about 24 US dollars worth of Solana, which is 0.325 Solana right now. And I go into MetaMask, I click send, I click Solana, I type in point zero point or 0.08 Solana, which is about $6, or maybe I'll do 0.07. Okay, 0.07 Solana, and I click continue. And then in MetaMask on my app, it has like a send thing, and it says enter address to send to. And then I click the QR code, and then I scan this QR code, but it gives me an error. MetaMask app, it says unrecognized QR code. It says, sorry, this QR code is not associated with an account address or a contract address. What is going on here? Enter MetaMask password. What? Do I have one? Keeper. Oh, I do have MetaMask password. Okay. Cool. That makes it a little easier. Unlock. Okay, there you go. So that looks all good to go. That's all logged in. Send Solana to copy address. Amount 0.07, about $5. Continue. Transaction request. Okay. Confirm. Okay, sent, confirmed. Deposit detected. Amazing. Deposit processing. Okay, this is working. Cool. It was a pain in the ass to get set up, but all right, this is looking good. Deposit processing. By the way, have you guys seen the price of SpaceX lately? It seems like what we were talking about was right.
Yep. It
It
goes.
actually shot up. What was that?
It. I. Yeah. I think the earnings was disappointing. It went down. I think back up, didn't it?
So it went up almost 10% today, which is kind of crazy. But mind you, the whole market went up like crazy today. Like
Yeah.
everything. Micron, everything was up like nuts. Like my portfolios were like all up like 10% today.
Yeah. Minus
Uh
Palantir did me proud.
yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised he's
Okay.
still holding on to it after all that valuation stuff. But
Huh?
yeah, Palantir did well and like all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, SpaceX was up 9.5% today, and then after hours is down 7.5%.
Yeah, I see it.
But the lockup for SpaceX is like in 2 days or something like that. So so I'm sure it's gonna be like a total mess,
Yeah.
when people sell.
Oh
I
yeah.
honestly don't understand why people buy this thing. I
It-
think it's a great company, but like the
Yeah.
valuations on this are
yeah,
so extreme. I was actually I watched do you guys know the Diary of a CEO? It's like a YouTube channel.
Hmm.
uh,
No.
So Ray Dalio was on it recently. This is Ray Dalio Diary of a CEO. You might have seen this guy before. This guy, what is his name again? Let me switch over to my regular YouTube. Why is it showing me ads?
your VPN if you have it on.
Maybe. Yeah, either way, okay. But I'm paying for them. This guy, what's his name? He's a really good interviewer, this
Oh,
dude.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know his name, but I've seen him on a couple interviews that he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he does really good interviews. Like he's actually like one of my favorites to watch. Um, what the heck is his name? What's the name of the guy that runs the YouTube channel Diary of a CEO? Stephen Bartlett, right? So this guy, he does really good interviews, and he did an interview recently with Ray Dalio. Or actually, I guess not even recently. This is actually even a while ago. This is last year. Um, it was kind of eye-opening, right? I was watching this and they play like listen to this. This actually like kind of tripped me out. Um, where is this? I'm trying to find this exact. Maybe there's a new one. Wait, Ray Dalio Diary of a CEO. Is this the same one or is this? It was very interesting. Yeah, 5 days. Okay, this is the new one. Yeah. So listen to this.
And he was one of the few managers to foresee the great financial crisis, which allowed Bridgewater to post positive returns of 9.5% in 2008, while the S&P 500 plunged by almost 40%. Yeah. Let me start with the thing that I'm most curious about, because I sat here with an investor called Jeremy Grantham, who you might know. Mhm. He told me that we're staring in the face of an AI bubble and therefore a economic collapse potentially.
If you look at the data, it would be compatible with history for the peak to be very soon. Everything is in line. This is, I think, the biggest investment bubble in American history.
What's your perspective on that?
He's right. I don't want to jump to conclusions as much as I want to.
So he like, oh yeah, he's right. Yeah, whatever. That's a big statement, no?
Yeah, it is. But it's true. I mean, honestly, if you look from an economic perspective, right, the war is not only affecting everybody else, but we are so tied up economically on oil, and I'm talking about we are like tied by the balls almost, you know. Uh, and the thing is,
Yeah, they get into that. That's a second order thing, right?
right,
That's a risk on top of that.
right,
But just
right,
in
but
terms of valuations,
right,
right?
right. But what I'm saying also, you see in that, and then you see the inflation that we have that's onto it. It's like where's the bubble gonna burst, right? Because I mean, just to afford groceries, just to serve just to have the basics is becoming difficult, you know, and that's not just here; it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. So I see it too. I see a bubble, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when they're talking about bubble, they mean a little bit different. I think they mean like valuations are very stretched, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there's other risks as well, right? There's the risk of inflation, there's a risk of war, right? There's all this other stuff that we have to think about. Um, but that's like in addition to like imagine that we have valuations. Like look at this chart, and he like looking at this chart here, right? Gold had a bubble in the 70s. That makes sense. That was around inflation. Japanese equities had a bubble in the 80s. Asian equities had a bubble in the 90s. Tech, as we all know, the tech bubble, US housing crash, China, biotech. This was during COVID, I think. No, this is actually even before COVID, which is interesting. And then now this bubble, I don't know why they call it disruptors, right? But like valuations have really taken off. They don't really show what's on this y-axis here. I actually kind of want to know what this is about. Um, let's go Gemini. Like I thought this was very interesting, right? I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but this makes me want to change some of my positions. So this guy Jeremy Grantham was on the Diary of a CEO. I don't know when, but presumably pretty recently. And he said that we're in the middle of a giant asset bubble for disruptors. And he makes this chart here, which looks pretty interesting, but I don't know what the y-axis is. Like, what is he using to determine that we're at such a big bubble right now?
Yeah, I don't know that
What is the
either.
math behind it? Yeah, let's see. Let's see what Gemini thinks.
That's why I'm telling you, I'm shifting all my portfolio too. You know, that's why I said I invested heavily in QS.
Yeah. Yeah,
In
I'm
what?
starting to feel like I want to move my portfolio around a little bit,
What,
kind of
what
get
is
out of
what is
some of these AI names.
what did you invest in?
Oh, QS, yeah.
What is that?
The batteries, the solid state batteries.
Oh, the battery. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And the reason why I was doing that is because I was doing a lot of research and I was like, well, you know, so QS already came up. They're going to start making batteries for data centers and for the aerospace. So, and the thing is, some executive team is actually on we're part of the defense team. So they already got a good jump start on there. And then they got a partnership with Honda, last month. They got a partnership with Honda. And I mean, just to do the evaluation and do the research for Honda to sign over anything, you know, that's a big jump. So I was like, I'm just gonna shift towards QS. It's a safe because I mean, once solid state batteries come, it's gonna be like a revolution change for everybody because they're gonna have it's way more efficient to have a battery than it is to have a gallon of gasoline. That's my train of thought. So
Yeah, but that's not really what we're talking about here in terms of the bubble, right?
right,
If
right, right. No, no,
anything,
no.
I think what
No,
you
and that's
invested
that's
in
what I'm
is
saying.
even
But me,
further towards the bubble.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Me for right now, I was heavily invested in other AI applications and um and like Nvidia and all them. But I'm shifting away.
Yeah, like what I'm thinking is I kind of want to put some money into like a broader index like S&P. I maybe want to put a little bit of money into like bonds, even though I'm
Oh,
kind of
bonds,
shocked that I'm saying that. But but bonds might not actually be a bad idea right now. Because if the whole market collapses, they're gonna have to lower rates and bonds are gonna go up in value,
yeah.
right? So I'm thinking treasury bonds actually kind of makes some sense right now, right?
Yeah, that's I,
And
I I do those too. I mean, they have
yeah,
the auction for the treasury bonds like every quarter,
yeah.
you know.
Just something safer. I'm thinking I want to just like start moving, squirreling away a little bit of the money and just
Yeah.
putting it into like lower risk things. Like U.S. Treasuries actually don't pay too bad right now. They're like 4 to 5%. It's decent, you
I
know?
mean, yeah, that's why I actually added to USFR too. So it's just like, you know, same thing, just sit there and wait and just get my dividends.
Yeah. Let's see. So what would you recommend investing in based on this, right? I own a lot of tech stocks right now in my portfolio. What would you recommend doing in order to protect yourself against this? What are some assets that you recommend buying?
Those are the ones right there. It's Griffin gold and silver.
I think gold would probably come down too, right?
I,
Because
you know, so right
if there's a
now,
big drop in asset prices, like
yeah,
gold tends to follow the market, you know?
right. But the thing is with it, the political shift that's happening, right? Because of what's happening with the war, a lot of people are losing faith in and respect in the United States military capacity capabilities, right? So honestly, you got to remember after World War II, everybody's all like, "Oh, the U.S., right? So hold our gold." And then remember I told you that was actually Venezuela that requested their gold back from the U.S. Back in I don't remember what year it was, but they're the ones who requested their gold back. So that's kind of started the frenemies kind of stage with Venezuela. But I think for me, and this is my personal just thought from just watching, is the world is knowing not only the U.S. Trump's administration right now is really focused on oil, right? They focus on oil. However, the rest of the world is feeling the effect of the greenhouse and El Nino, right? So they're like, oh, we got to change away from this. That's why even China built 5 new nuclear facilities that are powering a lot of their factories, you know. So
I heard something very interesting on this too, by the way.
uh,
I was watching an interview with Ken Griffin, like the guy who runs Citadel,
uh-huh,
and he was saying that, because basically the US cut off oil from Iran to China, right?
hmm
This is like very, very smart political move, right? Like one of the reasons why they're doing all this stuff in Iran is because they don't want Iran to send oil to China because it's
right.
kind of going to hurt China, right? That's part of the reason. But apparently, China has somehow figured out a way, and I would like to research this further. Somehow they figure out a way to reduce their dependence on oil.
Yeah, that's what I said. They built 5 brand new nuclear facilities.
Yeah.
You look them up. You know,
Right.
Google it and it'll
That's
say how many.
wild.
Yeah, that's why I already knew that. That's what I was saying. They built the 5 new brand new facilities, right? And so here's
These
the
guys
thing, right?
build nuclear facilities faster than we can get the permits for
Right.
them.
Yep, yep. And that's why, like, I don't know if you
Wild.
guys heard of like SMR and NuScale. They're like small nuclear reactors that they want to put in data centers. I don't know if you
Hmm.
guys heard of those, but they're like
Yeah.
they're like they're from what I read, the permissions are a lot faster, and they're basically in a Conex box. You have a nuclear facility in a Conex box. They go and boom, put it by the data center, and they got nuclear energy. Boom, quick and simple.
I think
No,
that should almost be like a law, like, because everyone's complaining about data centers
yeah.
and how they're going to like steal power from the grid, right? And I even heard like a billionaire one time. This is the craziest thing. I forget who this was. I think it was Kevin O'Leary or something like that.
Mhm.
And what he said was he's like, yeah, people are complaining about data centers taking up power. Well, whatever, we got to beat China, so just don't use your air conditioning in the summer. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what's wrong with
Yeah,
you, man?
that's
Like,
that
how
that
out of touch are you,
yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like that. I forgot who it was when COVID first came out. It's only affecting the elderly. Well, you know what? We need to continue with the economy. We don't care if the grandparents die. You know, I forgot who it was who said that. It was when COVID happened at the beginning. I was like,
Yeah,
are you
that's
an idiot?" It's like,
yeah, that's pretty
you
dumb.
don't say stupid things like that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it's like saying that don't turn on your AC during the summer. Yeah, that's stupid. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn on my AC over the summer because I want us to beat China in AI race.
Yeah,
Do you think anyone's going to give a crap about that?
yeah. Because
Like, I don't care. I'm hot, man. Like,
we we, we
why are you stealing my energy,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We vote on what affects me. You know,
Yeah,
me. And if we got no
yeah,
AC or our bills are high, we change our votes.
absolutely.
And we change our perspective.
I think it should be a requirement. They should probably even put this into law that if you're going to build a data center, you need to either make sure that there's either capacity on the grid that you're
Uh-huh.
doing it in,
Yep.
or that it's required for you to make your own energy
But
capacity.
that's no. So here's the thing. That's why I'm so heavily invested in QS because so having a nuclear facility on there is dangerous, right? A lot of
Mhm.
probabilities of going wrong and right. So
Mhm.
what I am thinking now, if they have a backup battery like QS, and there's other companies that do backup batteries. However, QS has been already proven, third party proven, and proven by Volkswagen and Ducati to be the safest. So, that having a safety, no wild combustion fires, no chemical fires with that battery, that in itself makes it a lot more, um, how should I say, sellable to people, especially in those places that are so critical, like a data center, that say, you know what, the risk of a chemical fire or something blowing up, at least the batteries will there will be safe. They're not going to be combustible. They start some kind of chemical fire that burn the whole place down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even right now, so I work for data storage, right? So there's already a big concern for because some of these what storage arrays or storage arrays that are already at the data centers, there's a big concern already because of the battery pack that comes with them. That hey, if these things blow up, they're gonna blow up our data. I mean, yes, you gotta replicate and stuff, but that's still a lot of money. But if you have a safer battery that's known that's not gonna blow up, it's just gonna go out, you can drive a nail through it and not blow up and not do nothing, still work. That's more of a sellable product.
Yeah. I just looked at the chart, but like a year ago, it was at around 19, and today it's at like 5.5.
Yeah. And
So
and I'm actually
what happened?
that's why I'm well, so this is what happened with it. A lot of people so if you look at actually in 2020 when Biden got elected, it actually went up to 130.
Oh, wow.
And because everybody has the hope for the batteries.
Yeah, right.
And the thing is that what's happening is they'll come in. They already did a test with a car. They drove this car 300,000 miles already with the batteries, 1,000 charges cycles on it, and it worked still good, 85% efficiency. Right? So it still did good. Now, the only thing is I think is happening. There hasn't been any negative news. The only negative news that there was, I think, was in 2018, I believe. The original CEO stepped down, and so everybody got spooked, like, oh yeah, we're gonna freaking, it's going down, right? But
Yeah.
this one was still an idea. They didn't have the product out. Now they have the product out and it's being tested right now as we speak, and it's being, and they're getting contracts. They got a contract with PowerCo, and they got an 85. So what they're gonna do, they're not gonna build the factory. They're gonna lease the idea, right? So they get the copyright infringements every time they sell. So PowerCo gave them. Oh, you know what happened? So PowerCo gave them $130 million to build what they call the Eagle Line facility to start making the products, the battery packs. And then this last earning call, they said they went down. They don't need that much. They only need 75 million. And so that's what caused everybody got spooked on that.
Well,
But that was before they released the um the, the agreement with Honda because Honda spent $284 million to build their own battery pack and failed. They were going to use sodium hydride batteries, I believe, but those things are so dangerous that they failed. The thing what makes the batteries with QS, they have no anode. Those batteries have no anode. So usually when you have a battery, you have a cathode and you have an anode. Well, QS battery technology, they have no anode at all. So it's like that in itself is brand new technology that's going to revolutionize the battery industry, in itself. Yeah, I've been studying the products and their stuff that they do, and it's quite interesting. You know, there's a lot of information for it. That's why I myself, I'm not saying do it. I now that it's cheap, I went and bought a whole bunch of stock.
yeah,
You know, and because it's just I'm very optimistic that the way the war's going, if it continues on with the Houthis and they take over, they start bombing additional shipped from Saudi Arabia, gas prices are just going to go way up higher more.
yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I mean, it looks like it's coming back too. I mean,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had at 5 and it's coming, it's,
but you know what I'm saying? And here's the
yeah.
thing people don't realize: these pump countries have been at war for thousands of years.
Right.
It's like I don't see peace, but I see an agreement. That makes sense.
Yeah,
They've been at war for thousands of years. I don't see peace. I just see maybe the agreement that they're gonna make money, but
yeah.
that's the
Is
only
Q,
way I see that they're gonna come to a ceasefire.
yeah. Is
You know?
QS the one that has the motorcycle? the battery in the
No, no,
motorcycle?
no. That was Donut Lab.
Donut, all right, right.
Yeah, Donut Lab had a motorcycle that came out with a battery, and they said, "Oh yeah, it can go 100,000 cycles, and it does 400. It had a 400 watts per kilogram.
Uh-huh.
So QS batteries had 301 watts per kilogram. Donut Lab came and said that, but they got debunked. Um,
Oh,
yeah, because they look at the charging curve and discharge curve of their battery. They said it was they didn't say the product, but it basically behaving like a lithium battery.
hmm.
Yeah, but the actual motorcycles are pretty nice. I don't know if you ever see. Have you ever seen them, Rob? They're like they don't have like a regular. They don't use a chain. It's like a it has like a
A direct
magnetic
drive?
strut on it, and it's
Uh-huh.
like and it spins the back tire. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, you can use
Never
a
heard of this.
shaft.
What is this?
It's
Yeah, you can use.
crap. I forgot that it's not. Let me look at the company. What it is? Let me look at what. What was the name of that company? Verge. Verge Motorcycle. Look that up.
Uh-huh.
VERG. Verge Motorcycles.
Hmm.
They're pretty
Urge
sweet.
Motors.
Yeah. They look pretty sick. They're cool. The back wheel is pretty cool. It's a new technology, the way they make the wheels.
So do they have the motor in the wheel?
Yeah, the motor's in the wheel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It uses magnetism to spin it.
So it's like an electric bike?
Yeah, it's an electric bike, but it doesn't have like a belt or a chain. So the motor is inside the actual wheel in the back. See how all those wires,
Interesting.
power wires go to the wheel in the back? It uses
Yeah,
that power and magnetism to power the wheel.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
it
you
doesn't
know,
have any spokes.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it looks cool, but you know, that can affect handling because you'd rather
Yeah,
have the,
yeah, I think it looks cool. I haven't ridden in one. I haven't even done that, but yeah, I could see that too. But I thought it was a pretty slick idea.
This will
yeah,
definitely get some looks if you're driving it down the street.
Yeah,
oh,
because they'd be
God,
like,
yeah.
why ain't that thing have spokes in the middle?
Yeah, like what the
Yeah.
heck? That's weird.
Imagine if it going down the street, it looked
Cool.
like it'd be hovering, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly. They should do that
Yeah,
with the front wheel too, both
yeah.
wheels. That's
Oh,
it looks like those Tron
oh
motorcycles.
yeah, 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 like those Tron ones, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah, but
know, I mean, the problem is that you know, I don't, I
Yeah,
mean, for the
basically
rear, it's
this.
not so
yeah,
bad, but the moment of inertia is greater because you have more mass out towards the edge. And that means that it's harder to, you know, to turn, right? Because you
sure.
have more mass out at the
But,
outside. So,
yeah,
you know, but, you know, I mean, who knows?
yeah, I don't know, honestly.
Look,
I had
look, I searched Tron motorcycle, and one of the things that pops up in the images is the Verge
the bird.
TS electric motorcycle.
Oh,
So
Even
they
when I searched for Tron. Yeah.
they said that those batteries that came in, they were solid state batteries, and they're gonna do mass production for that. That's what they did at the technology conference that they had. But you know, so far they haven't really said nothing. And so the other competitor that's against solid state batteries. Well, right now Japan has not Japan, China has solid state batteries. However, they're not as safe as QS. Um, and they're not as efficient. The one that they have right now for their EVs. They have some EVs that do have solid state batteries, but they're not as safe and they're not as efficient. They're using, I think, sodium hydride. I believe they're using sodium hydride. And when sodium hydride can bust and if it release chemicals, toxic chemicals the if it's punctured, you know. So that's why I'm a big fan of QS because they have no anode and nothing release no chemical toxins and it don't burn. And that in itself, I'm a big like wow to do that. That's gonna be a big game changer for data centers and anybody that requires high safety. You know, but we'll see. That's why I said it. I believe in 2030 it's gonna blow up. That might blow up, but if it goes down under $5, I'll buy some more. I'm going on for the long run. So on their last earnings call, they have $834 million of cash, and they're wasting about 10 million a quarter. So they'll still stay in business for a while, you know. So they beat expectations. They were expecting negative 18 cents per share, and they beat by negative 16, which is not positive money, but they're not going to dry up anytime soon. They could still last maybe 3 years with their cash reserves. But it would be cool if we get those batteries out and they freaking imagine having a battery pack like that. Your cell phone can charge in what, 3 minutes and last what, maybe 10, 15 hours straight. That'd be pretty amazing to do. And you don't ever have to worry about it blowing up. Run strategy locally. Where are you going at now? What are you doing now?
Um, I'm basically getting this AI powered thing working.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
so I think we kind of figured this out. It kept getting confused. It's trying to make like a hybrid strategy and like all this stupid nonsense. So I kind of corrected it a bit on that. But I think we're just about ready to do this.
Crap. Sorry, 9:30. All right, you guys, I gotta drop off. Have a good night, you guys. Take care.
Yeah, I think it's about time for us to call it. I'm gonna keep working on this a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah, we're definitely past
Oh,
time here.
did you,
Yeah, I
quick
want to take
question.
off too.
Did you ever find out what happened with the bots if back testing for like more than a year?
This issue that you were having, is that
Yeah.
what you're talking?
Was it only me or is it
No, it was a bit more of an issue. It was having issues with like getting data from interactive brokers and like it was like a caching issue. There's like a whole bunch of like little stuff there. Um, yeah, we're still working on it. Let me
okay.
see. This is let me actually check up on this Maurizio backtest bug. So yes, the backtest engine is fixed and deployed to production, and I now have tested Mauricio's exact code. What I verified, read, copied most files, ran. Production selected, then ran. It completed successfully 46 seconds. Most importantly, production artifact reports. Missing session 0, partial series 0, transient failure 0. I also inspected the raw production SQQQ cache directly. The 2 previously missing dates are now real, not placeholders, missing false. Okay, I think it's actually working.
Okay.
Internal production strategy. Okay, so try it now. See if it works. I think it's actually been taken care of.
All right, I'll try it. I'll try it over this weekend on there.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Let me know if you have any other issues. All right.
all right, sounds good. See you guys later.
All right.
Okay,
Later.
see you later. Yeah, I'm gonna take off too. I'll see you later, Rob.
All right. Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.